Hey y'all, it's Chelsea and I want to talk to you about something kind of new and different today. This one is for the pregnant ladies. You want to keep working out, you want to keep doing your thing, but you might not know where to start, and I've got a few tips for you. So whenever you find out that you're pregnant, obviously if you have been working out before you found out that you're pregnant, you can continue to do a lot of those things. Although within that continuation, it's more of a maintenance period and not necessarily a progression. So you don't want to continue to go heavier or harder. You kind of want to maintain what you were doing before pregnancy. Whenever you continue an exercise program, you always need to talk to your doctor first. I am not a doctor and your trainer is not a doctor. Maybe they are, I don't know. But we want to give you the best within our realm, but your first go-to is your doctor to figure out what you specifically need and what your limitations are. If you get the green light, you come to us and then we help you out. Okay, so if you did not get the green light from your doctor to continue exercise, or maybe you need to not start something new, one of the things that you can do is go on walks. Walks are really great whether you're continuing an exercise program or whether you haven't. It's a great thing that's going to get your heart rate up but not too high, and it's going to keep you moving and allow for a lot of the muscles to work in a good new way. One of the things that happens whenever you get pregnant is your hormone release is going to be a lot different. So you might notice things like you might have more laxivity within your hips or things like that. Things might feel a little bit looser getting ready for baby. So whenever we are dealing with that, we really want to kind of be mindful when working out that we don't want to do a lot of high intensity bouncing things unless the body can control it. So as long as you have good control and good form, you might be okay, but you really want to monitor high intensity exercises and your heart rate within those exercises. Some of the benefits that you can have while working out pregnant are pretty endless, but you can sleep better, you can help with fatigue, you can help with constipation, a lot of things like that. And also too, it can help with the birth and the recovery. That's going to depend on the person, that's going to depend on each individual pregnancy, but at the same time it can increase your chances of having a quicker recovery, an easier birth, things like that. Your body is capable to do a lot, but you just have to have someone helping you figure out what you can do that's going to work for you. A couple of things that you really want to monitor within a workout, and this is where a trainer can help you out, is your heart rate. You don't want to get it too high. If it does get high, just take a break, let it come back down. We're not trying to win any medals or do anything crazy. We're just trying to make sure that you're moving. A lot of things that can help are working on your postural muscles, so your upper back, your posterior chain, because everything is getting pulled forward, so we really want to kind of combat that with working on the things in the back. You want to be really mindful of the pelvic floor while working out because it's doing a lot of work and it's going to do a big work. So we want to make sure that we're giving it a lot of love and keeping everything really safe. Also, when it comes to core, there is something called diastasis recti, which is where you have a little bit of a split or a tear within the abdominal wall. There are some things within your core that you can do to reduce the chance of getting diastasis recti. So some people can be in a plank position and be totally fine. Some people might get into that plank position and see sort of coning within their belly, and that can be somewhat of a dangerous position to be in because it's putting a lot of pressure on the tissue that is a little bit weakened. So if that happens, then we'll show you some standing core moves that you can do that will still allow you to work those muscles but not put them in a dangerous position. Another thing that you can do is work on your balance. As your center of gravity grows, if you will, it's going to change and make it a little bit harder to do balance. So there are a lot of things that you can do to try and make that a little bit easier on your body, but you still can work on those things. You just need to be able to modify for your body. Everything is specific to you. A good rule of thumb whenever it comes to overexertion when you're working out while pregnant, if you cannot talk while doing the exercise and not talk and have like a normal conversation, you might need to slow down a little bit and take a quick break. If you're having trouble breathing or talking, you really need to slow down, because for some people one specific heart rate might not be high enough and for some people it is, so we can kind of go off the rate of perceived exertion, if you will. So maybe like a 6 to 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, or just if you're able to carry on a conversation. Another thing as far as position goes, some doctors will tell you about laying on your back, especially in the 3rd trimester as you've maybe been carrying a little bit more weight. In your 3rd trimester, as you've grown a little bit throughout your middle area, it might not be the best idea to lay back onto your back while working out. A good idea would maybe to be in an incline chair or something like that. It might be a little bit uncomfortable to breathe, and as your heart rate's elevated, it can be an unsafe position. So avoiding being on the back whenever possible is a great idea. Hey guys, I'm here with my precious friend Kristen and sweet new baby almost here. We're getting a little bit closer, it's exciting. Kristen is going to be my demonstrative model for today to show you guys what you can do while pregnant. And she's also been a good friend of mine and a client for a while. She has worked out through, this is our 2nd pregnancy. First time with just one baby though, first time with twins. So if Kristen can do it, you guys can do it. You just gotta stay with it. Kristen, do you have any tips for the pregnant moms out there?
Yes, I would say a lot of it is keep moving even on the days that maybe you don't initially feel up to working out in the morning. Just getting up and doing something for yourself is a huge game changer throughout pregnancy and will help so much in the long run afterwards. Yeah, it's been a very different pregnancy this time with just one versus twins that I had last time, but I'm so thankful both pregnancies that I continued moving and just doing something. Not really a time to set any fitness goals, but just able to give myself some grace as I work out through the season. So,
I love that mindset too. It's all about just getting that movement in. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not trying to set new PRs, new records. You're just trying to keep moving and continue what you were doing. So we're going to show you guys some sample movements and a sample warm-up to help you guys get started. Okay, so one of the things that you can do when you're warming up, whether you're not pregnant or whether you're pregnant, but especially when you're pregnant, is start with a little bit of foam rolling, just to kind of let the muscles and the fascia around the muscles kind of work themselves out a little bit. We're going to start today with Kristen with a glute foam roll. So she's going to sit on top of the foam roller and she's going to cross one ankle over one knee and then lean towards the leg that's up and then just kind of work her glute on that side. If you feel a specific area that's really tight, you can kind of stay on it and maybe rock your hips back and forth just a little bit, but you only need about 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds on each side. You'll switch legs and then you'll go the same way. So you're always going to be leaning towards the leg that's up, supporting yourself with that opposite hand. From here, we're going to go into a hamstring foam roll. So Kristen's going to put both hands behind and hit the foam roller a little bit below the glutes and then roll from below the glutes to right above the knee and just kind of pushing yourself back and forth. With a little bit of extra weight on this one, you might get a little bit tired through your arms, so feel free to take time when you need it and just sit all the way down. You can also alternate the toes being up, rotating out into a ballet first position, or you can go into a pigeon toe position. That's going to help you hit a lot of different areas in the hamstring. You can relax. And then the other one that we're going to do is the thoracic spine. So we're actually going to put the foam roller behind you and right kind of in the middle. We don't necessarily want to foam roll the lower part of the back, but maybe right in the middle and above. So Kristen's going to put the foam roller right here and her feet are going to be underneath her kind of in a glute bridge position. Hands can go behind the head and then we're just going to roll from here, giving that spine a little bit of mobility and a little bit of love. I would say about anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds on this roll as well. So another foam rolling that you can do is right on the quads here. If you want a little bit of extra pressure, you can cross one foot over the other. That's going to give you a little more pressure on one side. And you can also leave both feet right next to it, and you can go toes down, toes out, and toes in, kind of alternating between those different positions. Perfect, Kristen. Thank you. What a champ. I mean, really. Okay, so now we're going to work on some of the mobility and preload within the warm-up. So the first thing we're going to do is put all fours on the floor. Knees are going to go underneath the hips, hands are going to go underneath the shoulders, and Kristen's going to do a thoracic reach through. So she's going to extend up first, that's okay, and reach that arm right through, putting that shoulder on the ground. So this is giving you a little bit of love through that thoracic area as well. We do probably about 5 on each side. Kristen's going to demonstrate just a few. Okay, so for the thoracic extension, she's going to start on all fours, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. One hand will go lightly on the back of the head, and you want to make sure that you don't have too much pressure here. You're going to take elbow to elbow, and then you're going to extend up, staying nice and strong. So when you guys do this, you might do about 5 on each side. Kristen's going to do just a couple just to show you. Make sure when you transition, you give yourself a little bit of time in between, especially if anything feels uncomfortable. As always, if anything feels weird or feels uncomfortable, do not continue that movement unless it's something that's just very slight. Any pain, anything like that, you don't necessarily need to be pushing through. Next, we're going to work on a little bit of lower body. So she's going to start in a high plank position, bringing one leg to the outside of the foot, whichever one you want to start with, good. And then you're going to rotate that arm up towards that leg and then bring it right back down. And then you would push back and maybe throw in a downward dog if you wanted to, and then switch to the other side. Perfect, good. That one's going to give you a little bit of love through the lower half. As you get farther into your pregnancy, and you might be feeling a little bit relaxed, if you feel any discomfort or like pain through any of that stuff, maybe don't do it. When you're earlier on in your pregnancy, you can also do kind of something similar, pushing back for that downward dog, bringing that leg through for a dynamic pigeon. As your hips get a little bit more relaxed, this may not be the best option, but you have that maybe a little bit earlier on. And as always, go with what feels good and what you feel like you can control. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a pull apart. So you're going to put the band out in front of you, And the closer you have your hands, the harder it's going to be, and the farther apart, the easier it's going to be. So kind of work with what you've got on this one. And then from here, we're going to stand nice and strong. Feet are going to be a little bit underneath the hips. And then we're going to pull the band to the chest, squeezing back at the upper part of the shoulders here. Keeping everything nice and strong and releasing with control, so she's not just flopping forward. She's still got control whenever she's releasing it back. Perfect. You guys are going to do about 10 to 12 of these, and make sure you stay nice and strong through the movement. After this, we can lose the band if we want. See you later, band. We're going to go with a bodyweight hinge. So we're going to stand up nice and tall. Feet are going to be right underneath the hips, staying as strong as we can with those upper back and the shoulder muscles activated. We're going to extend the hands out, push the hips back, letting the knees stay nice and soft, and then pull everything right back up, squeezing as we come to the top. So I'm trying to feel this kind of through the belly of that hamstring and squeezing my bottom as I come back. We're getting that posterior chain nice and fired up and ready to go. Perfect, Kristen. Notice that she's not just falling forward with her hips staying in the same spot. She's actually actively pushing the hips back. One good cue to remember on this one is if there's an open drawer behind you, you're trying to push it closed with just your bottom. That one you guys can do about anywhere from 8 to 10. The last one we're going to do is a sprinter step. So it's really just kind of a quick reverse lunge. We're going to stand up nice and tall, extend that leg back and touch the hand right where the leg was, and then just stand right back up. You're going to keep this one with a little bit quicker of a pace. This one is meant to get the heart rate up just a little bit without pushing it too much. You guys will do about 8 on each side. After you've done this, catch your breath. Make sure that you've got a little bit of comfort underneath you again, and then you're going to do it all one more time through.